Lindsey and Aaron sitting in a tree. Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage.
Hey y'all, welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And on this 6th episode, we will be talking about fighting. How you fight fair and how you fight for each other.
So listen in.
Let's go. Welcome to the 6th episode of First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And I want to ask you, baby, today, when we get into disagreements, how do you fight fair?
It's different because we're married, right? And so I did it one way when we were dating and another way when we're married. When we're married, usually I'm always on the big picture type of thing. Like, well, we're going to be married for 100 years. So 100 years from now, 60 years from now, this don't matter, right? I always think stuff like that when we're at disagreements. But when we were dating, I had to be very conscious of the boundaries that we established young. Like, you don't like people to curse. And you also, people establish boundaries with their friends. And we're in a relationship, we're more than friends, but you have to establish these boundaries, and they're almost like the rules of the fight. Mm-hmm. Don't cross this line, don't cross that line. I kind of fall back into what boundaries I can get close to, I could cross, when to stay far away from. It's like when somebody you just meet and you're building a relationship and they do something and you're like, don't do that. Mm-hmm. And you're like, no, for real, don't do that. And that person either going to continue to do that or they're going to stop and respect your boundaries. So there's always a respect factor because I love you. Remaining respectful is a thing that I try to do. And that's because I do not like disrespect. When I feel like you're purposely disrespecting me, that's when I turn up to a different level. So I try not to do things that I dislike when it comes to a disagreement with you. So I don't like when I don't feel like I'm being heard. So I make sure I listen to you and try to understand you. And I do that. I've been doing that for a long time, listening to you, because usually when we're in a disagreement, I can try to judo your point, flip it to my point. It's like, oh, so what you're saying is really what I meant to be saying. I listen mostly so you can prove yourself wrong, because I'm usually right in arguments. So I'm like, she's just going to talk herself.
And you think so?
Yes, I think you're just going to talk until you're wrong. But, sometimes you're right. And that's the point. I also have to be accepting of I was wrong. And when it comes to parameters, I try to do unto others as I want people to do unto me. And that's really difficult in the heat of the moment. Mm-hmm. But I had practice with it. And so that's the main thing I try to do, is just like, okay, don't curse at her. Don't hit her. Don't call her names. Like, don't do things that I deem disrespectful. I don't try to be disrespectful. Because I know in the end run, in the end all be all, this disagreement, this argument is not the end of us. It's just,
right. It's
just one subject matter that we just happen to have a misunderstanding
right now. Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, that's all they are. It's just you have an understanding this way, I have an understanding this way, and for some reason we can't meet. We can't communicate the way we're supposed to. Mm-hmm. I have learned in marriage that sometimes we need to put a pause, like on arguments when there's a big disagreement. Mm-hmm. There is a point where I could be like, we're not clicking. Let's pause on this,
right,
and go back around. The key is to actually go back around and hash it out,
right.
But there are times when I was younger, and you could attest to this, I was like, no, we need to talk this out. We need to talk this out. And you were like, I need a moment. I need a moment. And I kept like pushing.
Yep.
And as I got older, I learned that it's okay to pause. You know, it's okay to be like, okay, let's stop. Let's go do other things. Think about it. We could actually. It's almost like a round one, and then you go to your corner. And so my corner is, I ask another married person, or I ask another boyfriend.
Right.
And so I'm like, hey, like the "Am I wrong" section.
Right.
I actually ask people like, oh, this is the situation. I try to give yours as much as possible, but you know, it's always skewed. It's always biased. And I see how they have reacted to a similar situation. You know, every relationship is different, but there's a lot of the same type of arguments. And so that's what I do. I try to keep it clean, keep it respectful. How do you try to keep it clean in a fight?
Well, you know, we are two different people. So how I fight fair, like you said, is not necessarily how you go about it, but I try to understand what's happening in the moment. And most of the time, what's happening in the moment is that I am very passionate and you are like, you're too much. Like, calm down. And so I think that when we have a disagreement, I am trying to breathe it out, trying to calm down, and just remember how you like to be spoken to. Because that's like a big thing with you. You prefer not to be yelled at. You know,
Yes.
I cannot raise my voice. I'm like super passionate about this, and when my voice goes up a decimal,
My ears go down.
exactly, and I'm like, but you're not listening, and this is why, and you're just like, no, this is not how you, that's not how you work. And so that I always I have to remember, okay, you know what, keep it low, keep the tone level, or like, we're the same in this. We don't use curse words. We do not use profanity when we're having an argument in specifics, because it's like, you know what, now I know you're being disrespectful, just because that's who we are. Those two things I try to do. And, you know, I'm the type of person that doesn't necessarily need to have a conversation about it. And you
Yes.
like to have conversations. So it's hard because, like how you said, I'm like, I need a break. I need a moment. Just do exactly what I say, and we won't get into these problems. And that's not realistic. That's not who you are. We need to come together and have a conversation. And the funny thing about it is that we can disagree, and it's not like we go to bed angry. I think that that's the difference for me, because people, you know, the advice that we got before we got married was never go to bed angry.
Never go to bed angry.
Yes, never go to bed angry. And so we get into these disagreements about, you know, the dishes or the house or, you know, anything. And like you said, we know we're going to be together forever. So how do we handle this situation? Do we just say, like, I don't care? Or do we, you know, hammer it down? What do we do? And in that situation, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I don't have the energy to fight. And so I want to go to bed. But that's not going to bed angry for me. That's just going to bed possibly unresolved, and it's going to come up tomorrow. And there is a scripture. It says, in everything you do, stay away from mumbling and complaining. And something that I used to do that I don't do anymore, because it's like,
talk under your breath?
I would,
Yeah,
I would talk under my breath.
Yeah,
I
you
was like,
did.
what is stupid? He going to, and you know, because I'm not going to say it to you because I don't want to disrespect you. So I didn't say it to you. I said it under my breath. And that's just, you know, that's just another form of disrespect. And it needs to be handled, and you know, and so praise God, I've worked past that, because I haven't done that.
No, you don't do that anymore. Everybody used to do that.
You did.
I was like, this girl's crazy.
And you would come back, and it would be like, as you're walking out the door, and then you come back and go, what'd you say? I'd be like, nothing to you, you know. And
well, one of the things that I have done, and it's good, I've always had homeboys who I can go to, and just go off on, you know, like vent, like, man, this is crazy. This girl bugging, blah, blah, blah. It's nice to have somebody I could just vent it out to, because if all my energy is going towards you at all times, then it's going to be a lot. And so sometimes you need that output somewhere else.
Yeah, you have to have another outlet, because the reality is sometimes things build up, and like you say, it's not that important. It, you know, not to demean what's happening, but I know for me, some things I just like focus in on. And then the very next day, or you'll be like, you just gonna apologize later. And I'll be like, baby, I'm sorry. Baby, I'm sorry. I was tripping. But, you know, and so it's important, like you say, take a step back, you know, and just kind of look at the situation and calm down. And even if that means that you know, take your separate sides, get in your separate corners, and then come back respectfully, I think we always keep that in mind. Like, we love each other, we respect each other, and this is how we're playing fair. One of the books that we read, it was talking about when you're fighting and you two have opposing views and you just cannot see eye to eye, to try to take what you think that they said and repeat it out loud.
Yes.
So I would say, okay, this is what I think you're saying, and I'm saying it. And then you have the opportunity to say, that's not what I'm saying. And then I'm like, okay, I didn't get it. Or, yes, that's what okay, that's what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying. So in that aspect, we're putting ourselves in each other's shoes, and we're able to, again, take a step back, look at the situation, and come to it from the perspective of respect.
Yeah, and RESPECT.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Hello, this is the Am I Wrong segment of the show, where I discuss with you all dilemma that I'm going through, and you let me know if I am wrong or I am correct. So let me tell you the dilemma. Lindsey and I go on trips every year. We have a vacation. Usually she picks a place, I pick a place, she picks a place. And so this year was Lindsey's year to pick a place, but obviously we can't go anywhere. And I feel like it's too bad she doesn't get her turn next year. Because that's going to mess up the whole rotation of things. And so I feel like she just has to, just like everybody else, got to scratch this year, take that L, and we go where I want to go. Mind you, the benefit is we still are going somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a win-win, of course, but we're in unprecedented times. You are not going to hold me accountable for this year. We did not know, okay? And so, yes, I feel like I should be allowed to choose where we're going to go next year.
I'm just saying that God has chosen to pass your year up.
Wow. What about all of those people who were supposed to be married this year and they're postponing it?
I'm pretty sure.
Year?
I'm saying. I'm pretty sure some of them are happy that the pandemic came. Was like, woo, we almost made a big mistake.
All right. Let us know what you think. If I can do my trip, or should we go with his trip next year? At First Comes Love TCM on Instagram, DM us, or you can email us at letstalk@firstcomeslove.thenComesMarriage.com.
Or you can send us a voicemail at 347 TRU-LOVE. That's 347 True Love. 347-878-5683.
Okay, so is there a point in our relationship where you needed to fight for it?
So there were, I guess it was 2 times where, maybe 3, but I really remember 2 times. It was like, we're going to be together, like we're going to figure this out, make it work, or we're not going to be together. And the most recent time was right before we got engaged, and I graduated college. You were at rehearsals in Lion King, and that whole summer you were in New York, I was in California. and we were arguing all the time. It was just like back and forth, arguing. And mind you, I was saving up for the ring.
I didn't know.
That you didn't know about, but we were going at it. And I was like, man, do I really want to marry this person? You know what I mean? Like, I'm saving for this ring, and we're like, maybe we've grown apart, you know? And so, but I just held on. I was like, you know what? No, I think you're worth the investment, you know? And so I stuck to my guns, and I came out and I proposed. And one of the main reasons is because, like you said, you are a quality time person. And we were living in different states, and we were older now. It was like, why aren't we together? You're out of college and stuff like that. And we weren't together, and you could not handle it. Basically,
you couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't handle it. Think about it, and that was literally 4 weeks. Like, it wasn't even a long time. It was like 4 or 5 weeks, but it was too long for me.
Yeah, you were like spazzing.
Okay.
And so that was the one time that it was like, okay, you got to fight for it. You do, how badly do you want it? Do you want it? And so another time was when we first started dating. When we very first started dating.
Say that one.
It was your mom. I'm Lindsay's first boyfriend ever. So we were, no, not the 12. We had to be like 15. Yeah, we were like 15, 16. And I'm homeschooled. So I didn't go to high school. I was at home. And Lindsay, side note, Lindsay's mom, every year of her grade school, went to visit her school for the whole day.
Yes.
Yes. So she was in class the whole day. And I heard about these things. But when I first started making it official, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Lindsay's mom came to me and was like, oh, so you want to date my daughter? This is what you have to do. You have to spend a full day with me. And
no, she said, you have to read this book.
Yes.
Write a report and spend the full day with me. And
yes.
She made all of my siblings do this, to my knowledge.
And I'm the only one who did it.
And he's the... yeah, all of my siblings were supposed to do this with their boyfriend or girlfriend. And yeah, you're the only one.
I am the only one.
Yeah, well, that's why
and
you made
so,
it.
Yeah, I had to read a book. I had to read it. I think it was called Kiss Dating Goodbye.
Kiss Dating
Goodbye. And then write a report, which I was like, I'm homeschooled, I could do this anyway. And then I had to spend the whole day, like I literally was running errands with your mom, which I was thinking, would that have happened if it was another kid? Because they would be in school, but she probably would have did it on a Saturday.
On a Saturday, of course.
Yeah. So I'm chilling with your mom the whole day, talking about this book that, my reading comprehension at 15 was very subpar.
Mind you, I didn't read the book.
I know you did. You read like 2 pages.
But let me tell you about this book. Okay, let me pause. The one thing that I got about this book that stuck with me, you never know what sticks, that stuck with me was this visual. They said, when you're at the altar, when you get married and you're at the altar, looking in the eye of your future husband or wife, you will see all the other people that they slept with behind them. So all of your previous engagements, entanglements, if you will, are behind you, standing up there at the altar with you. And the point of the story is that you don't want that. You don't want anybody else up there with you besides you and your spouse. And that is literally the first page of the book. But it stuck with me. And I said, wow, I want that. I want it to just be us. And praise God, that's what we had. We did not have anybody else up there with us.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was another situation where it was, are you going to do this? How much are you willing to fight for this relationship? I've always chose you. I think I will always fight for you. You were always worth it to me to fight for. You know how people talk about the investment, how much I invest in you? I was always willing to make more of an investment. I would double down on you instead of like cashing out. When were there times that you had to fight for me?
Well, you took my instance, but the first time was my family. There was no explicit rule that I could not date, but as soon as you came into the picture, all of a sudden my parents were like, "You're not supposed to be dating." And I was like, "No, I am." And it's so crazy how quickly my emotions for you came, because I was like, "I love him," and I'm always like that with you, So I fought for you with my parents, with my siblings, especially my brother. I remember him saying, like, "What's up with him? What's up with this guy?" Like, y'all didn't really get along until I left for college. And then, we're only a year apart, my brother and me. So you're only a year apart from my brother. And honestly, of course you two would be friends because you both are cool people. But I think that started my initiation of knowing that I wanted you, knowing that I chose you. Just the fact that I would proclaim you to my parents, to my siblings, to my friends, to anybody. I was like, "This is my boyfriend. This is who I'm with." And that was, like you said, we were very young. We were 15, 16. And like, I was dancing at the church, and I remember, your sister will have a testify to this, being in the prayer circle, and if we got into an argument on the phone at night or something would happen, I would be like, "Okay, everybody, let's pray for Aaron." I have a prayer request for me and Aaron, or just anything. Or I would give my testimony, like, "Me and Aaron celebrated our 1-year anniversary." Like, I was not shy about our love and
our puppy love.
Yeah. Whatever it was, I knew what it was and what it meant to me, and so it was easy to fight for you, whoever came along. And I think now, as an adult, it wasn't until I went away to, like, Philly, to dance in Philly and New York, that you were introduced to new people.
Yes.
And those were new people in my life, but you were not. And so they knew me and they didn't know you, and they were confused, per se, about how I was with you.
Yeah.
They don't understand your humor or your jokes. And I remember telling people at Philadelphia or anywhere, like, "This is my man. He's joking, or he's being silly, or no, he means that." It was just, I don't mind sticking up for you. I don't mind being a voice for you to people that don't know you yet. And I think I learned that from my mom, because my dad would tell jokes, and like, you'd be like, "Oh, your mom is the only one that laughs at your dad's jokes," or "Your mom is the only one that gets your dad." And I get you. So even if my friends don't get you, my coworkers don't get you, I get you. And so I can stick up for you. I can fight for you. And so if there's something they don't understand, I can say, "Oh, let me clear that up for you. He meant this." And it's okay. It's fine. And then in the end, if they still don't understand, or if they still are not on your side or for you, the reality is we're married.
Is it at marriage, or is it before marriage? When do you choose your partner, your significant other, your whoever that person is to you, over even lifelong friends, over your mother?
You don't always want to hear advice.
Yeah.
Whether it's from your friends who are only looking out for your best interest, or from your parents who, like, "I know this," or they believe they know, And so, yeah, it's interesting, because I did not have that. My mother-in-law loves me and I love her, and we didn't have that sort of, "Oh, you marrying my son? Oh, well, I'm taking your son," or, that sort of thing. But to me, the question would pertain to you, in that if that was a situation, who would you choose? Would you choose me or your mom?
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously choose you.
Okay.
And the thing is, I'm so happy that I haven't had to choose. But at what age do I choose you? Is it when I'm an adult? Because at 15, 16, they say stay away. You don't have the choice. You could just stay away.
Right.
But at 20, It depends how responsible you are over your own life. I'm 33. I'm living at my mom. I'm borrowing money from my mom and stuff. Her opinion over who I'm dating to me has a bigger impact because
you're still there.
yeah,
I'm
still under her or my dad. Like, oh, I don't like this girl. I'm like, well, mom, I'm gonna stay with her, and then she's like, well, I'm not gonna pay your mortgage or something. I don't know what it is, but you know what I'm saying?
It depends on. I get you. How much you're listening to outside sources. When you said that, it's because it doesn't just have to do with parents. It could be, your best friend. You go into the basketball court and your best friend is saying like, man, I do not like your girl, or whatever. It's when the attachment becomes more, when it turns into love, I guess that's when you're like, you know what, I can't listen to you. I'm fighting for this relationship.
Yeah.
Before then, it's kind of like, hey, man, what do you think? Like, what do you think about him? Like, what do you think about her? And then it is, you don't ask those questions anymore, I feel like. Like, I don't ask people, I don't know if I've ever asked people, what do you think about Aaron?
Yeah, what do you think?
Because, not that I don't, because I listen to people. Not that I don't listen to advice. Not that I don't have my ear towards certain people and my friends and my parents, but I know myself, and I know what I'm worth. I know how I want to be treated. And so to me, any relationship was about me and that other person, and not necessarily about what somebody else thinks about you. Your relationship is your relationship. And so we grow and we learn how to do things better with us and with other people. So, yeah.
Yeah, so in the end, know what you're fighting for and figure out if it's worth it. Think about your future, think about your now, think about your past, and say, is this worth fighting for? And make your decision.
Thank you for joining us on our 6th episode. Please reach out to us. You can DM us at First Comes Love TCM on Instagram. You can also email us at letstalk@firstcomeslove.thenComesMarriage.com.
Or you could call our voicemail at 347 TRU-LOVE. That's TRU-LOVE. 347-878-5683.
See you next
See
Friday.
you next Friday.
Okay, we're back. So.
No.
What?
Nothing. You went too fast. I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared. Go ahead.
Good, we're back. Okay. I like the way that you bop. Okay. Ready?
Yep. You got lipstick on.
I know. Okay. How you fight fair and
Fighting for each other.
no.
We got to fight for the right.
Welcome to First Come.
Nope, you didn't say hey y'all.
Oh, thank you.
Goodness, I want that hey y'all.
Hey y'all. Welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage. Who are you looking at me
Oh
like?
God. Come on, let's finish this up.
Okay.
We got this. Never, ever, ever, ever should you tell the person you are arguing with to calm down. It is not going to help the situation at all.